Alright, this lesson is on trig results or exact values or angles of any magnitude. So on our unit circle, you know that we are starting at 0 here, goes up to 90 degrees here, or pi on 2 radians, around to 180 degrees or pi radians, around to 270 degrees or 3 pi on 2, and then back to 360 degrees or 2 pi radians. Remember, any angles are measured from the horizontal, up or down, and from this horizontal as well, down. So in the second quadrant here, the angle is going to be pi minus theta. In the third quadrant here, the angle is going to be pi plus theta, and in the fourth quadrant here, it'll be 2 pi minus theta. So that's important to know. Okay, now you might remember this diagram from last year. Now the little markings here represent 30 degrees, 45 and 60. So 30 degrees, 45 and 60. Then obviously at the top 90 degrees. So this is all degrees, but let's change those now to radians, because in year 12 everything is in radians. So pi on 6, pi on 4, pi on 3, and pi on 2. Alright, now, this is where it's going to get a little bit trickier and where your knowledge of fractions will certainly help. Alright, over here we've got pi radians. So, can you see that there are this angle here and this angle here are the same? So, that means this angle going all the way around there would be 180 minus 30 degrees, or 150 degrees. Now, what is that in radians? Remember, to convert degrees to radians, you times by pi on 180. So times by pi on 180 and simplify, and you get 5 pi on 6. So I'll just put that over here. Okay, do the same thing for, you can see that angle there, oh, I can't really see that colour. That angle there and that angle there are both 45 degrees, which makes this angle around there 180 minus 45, which is 135 degrees. And in radians, that is... Okay, so 135 degrees is 3 pi and 4. Okay, similarly, we've got another angle... Already got red. Green, let's try green. Can you see that angle there is 60 degrees, and so is that angle there, which means that angle there, 180 minus 60, which is 120 degrees, and 120 degrees is 120 pi on 180 radians, which simplifies to 2 pi on 3. Okay, you can do the same thing all the way around the circle. Okay, so then you got this little angle in here, that's 30 degrees. So this angle ends up being 180 plus 30 degrees, which is 210 degrees. And 210 degrees is how many radians? Well, times by pi on 180 and simplify, and you get 7 pi on 6. Likewise, this angle from here to here is 45 degrees, which will make the angle all the way around 180 plus 45, which is 225 degrees. Change that to radians, times by pi on 180 and simplify, and you get 5 pi on 4. Okay. This angle in here is 60 degrees, so all the way around from here, it's going to be 180 plus 60 degrees, which is 240 degrees. And converting that to radians, times by pi on 180 and simplify, and you get 4 pi on 3. Okay, down the bottom here, that's 270 degrees, remember, or 3 pi on 2. It's one of our boundary angles. Alright, and then now into the fourth quadrant. In the fourth quadrant, remember, angles are measured from the horizontal going down. So we'll start with this one here. That angle is 60 degrees. So it's going to be 360 degrees minus 60 degrees, which is 300 degrees. Change that to radians. by timesing by pi and 180 and simplifying, and you get 5 pi on 3. This angle from here to here is 45 degrees. So the whole angle going all the way around from here to here would be 180 minus 45, which is 315 degrees. And converting that to radians, times by pi and 180 and simplify, and that is 7 pi and 4 radians. And the last angle there is 30 degrees. That little angle there is 30 degrees. So the angle going all the way around there is going to be 360 minus 30, which is 330 degrees, times by pi and 180 to convert to radians, and you get 11 pi on 6 radians. Now, you don't need to memorize all of this, so long as you understand the process of how I got each of those angles in radians. That will really help. Values. Now, you learnt them all when they were in degrees, 30, 45, 60 degrees. Now you just need to learn them in radians. So remember, 30 degrees is pi on 6, 45 is pi on 4, and 60 degrees is pi on 3. So I always just remember those two there. The denominator is the opposite to the first number there, and 45 is just pi on 4. Okay, so learn and okay, looking at some examples. Sine of pi minus pi on 3. If we were to draw a diagram here, pi is here, and this little angle in here would be pi on 3. So to work out sine of pi minus 3, sine of pi minus pi on 3, we're finding sine of that angle there. So that is equal to sine of pi on 3, because in the second quadrant, sine is positive and equal to the sine of the related angle, and the related angle is pi on 3. So using your knowledge of the exact values, sine of pi on 3 is sine of 60, which is root 3 on 2. Okay, the next question here, cos of 5 pi on 4. Now, 5 pi on 4 is an improper fraction. So you know that it's going to be more than pi. So here we've got pi, and then we need to add on to pi a pi on 4. And that'll give you 5 pi on 4. See if you had the common denominator here to be 4, and then 4 pi plus pi is 5 pi. So cos of pi plus pi on 4 is going to be down here in the third quadrant, where that angle there is pi on 4. Okay, now in the third quadrant, is cos positive or negative? Is negative. So that is equal to cos, negative cos of the related angle. Oh, that's a little bit, let me try and knock that out. Make that a bit nicer. Negative cos of the related angle, which is pi on 4. Now, knowing your exact values there, pi on 4, cos of pi on 4 is 1 on root 2, so the answer is going to be negative 1 on root 2. Okay, 10 of 3 pi on 4. Now, 3 pi on 4, that's like 3/4 of pi. That's less than pi. So, that is going to be over here in the second quadrant, because you know pi is here. And 3/4 of pi is less as 3/4 of pi. So there you got half a pi, a quarter pi over here. So 3/4 of pi is going to be over there. Okay, now another way of working it out is with your fractions. You can say that is the same as pi minus a quarter. 1 minus a quarter is 3/4. So that's the same as pi minus pi on 4. And see if you were to get the same common denominator before, maybe 4 pi minus 1 pi, which is 3 pi over 4. Alright, third quadrant, is tan positive or negative? It is positive. So that's going to equal tan of the related angle, which is pi on 4. Pi on 4 is 45 degrees, and tan 45 is 1. Next question, 2 pi on 3. 2 pi on 3 is less than pi. That's like 2/3 of pi. So, let's do some fractional work. It's going to be pi minus. So the reason I'm putting minus is because you know it's less. Okay, now what do we have to put here so that the answer is 2 pi? So if you were to make that over 3, that would be 3 pi minus 1 pi. 3 pi minus 1 pi is 2 pi on 3. Alright, in the second quadrant, cos is negative. Our related angle is pi on 3. Cos of pi on 3 is half, so that's going to be negative half. 7 pi on 6. 7 pi on 6 is more than, is an improper fraction, it's more than a pi. It's going to be down here in the third quadrant. Okay, so this angle here. Alright, let's do some fractional work. So because it's more than pi, it's going to be pi plus. Okay, so let's see what it will be. Common denominator would be 6. 6 pi plus what equals 7 pi? 6 pi plus 1 pi is 7 pi. So there's our related angle, pi on 6. Now we're in the third quadrant. All stations to central. In the third quadrant, sine is negative. So it's going to be negative sine of that related angle. And pi on 6 is 30 degrees. Sine of 30 degrees is half. So the answer is negative half. And the last question, tan of negative pi on 6. Remember, positive angles are measured in a... wrong button. Positive angles are measured in an anti-clockwise direction, whereas this negative pi on 6 means it's going this way. Negative angles are measured clockwise from the positive x-axis. So negative pi on 6 is negative 30 degrees. That's around about there. With that angle is pi on 6. Okay. You could say that angle there is negative pi on 6, or you could say the equivalent positive angle would be that angle going all the way around there, which is going to be 2 pi minus pi on 6. Okay. So that is equal to tan of 2 pi minus pi on 6. Alright, all stations to central. We're looking at the fourth quadrant there, where tan is negative. So it's going to be negative tan of the related angle, which is pi on 6. Alright, tan of pi on 6 is 1 on root 3, so the answer is negative 1 on root 3. Thanks for watching.